TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel increasingly faces domestic turmoil in light of an evident refusal by separate, somewhat marginal sectors of society that blatantly refuse to adhere to the government-enacted nationwide lockdown. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu highlights cautious optimism about the trend of corona-related morbidity throughout the Jewish state. During the annual priestly blessing by believed descendants of the biblical priests in Jerusalem, the chief rabbi of the Western Wall, in the presence of U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman, recited a special prayer for U.S. President Donald Trump's recovery. Israel increasingly faces domestic turmoil in light of an evident refusal by separate, somewhat marginal sectors of society that blatantly refuse to adhere to the government-enacted nationwide lockdown, which was implemented as part of Jerusalem's bid to curb an uncontrollable spread of the corona contagion throughout the Jewish state. The Israeli Health Ministry published its latest accumulated data, confirming yet another rise in morbidity, including 2,905 individuals that tested positive as carriers of the disease, which accounts for 11.7% of all tests conducted. Furthermore, there are currently 878 individuals hospitalized in serious condition, while separately, 1,719 Israelis succumbed to the so-called coronavirus. It is important to know that the most afflicted sector within Israel's diverse society is the ultra-Orthodox sector. According to the Israeli government's project director, who is in charge of all that pertains to combating the pandemic, from all those afflicted, approximately 40% are from the ultra-Orthodox sector, which represents, according to Israel's Bureau of Statistics, only about 10.1% of the Jewish population living in the state. According to informed sources who asked to remain anonymous due to the sensitivity of this issue, the obstinate attitude projected by the ultra-Orthodox sector is rooted in growing distrust among many rabbis who are evidently concerned over the multiple ramifications that emerged in light of the government-enacted closure. Therefore, despite the high morbidity among the ultra-Orthodox sector, many synagogues and religious seminary institutions have remained open in defiance of the law of the land. Consequently, police forces were deployed in the predominantly ultra-Orthodox Jerusalem neighborhood of Mea Shearim and the cities of Bnei Brak and Beitar Illit to enforce the lockdown. However, upon arrival, the officers were met by thousands of ultra-Orthodox individuals who sought to violently obstruct the police operation.
Police units dealt with disturbances that took place both in Jerusalem and the ultra-religious neighborhoods, as well as in Bnei Brak, where our units responded to disturbances when roads were blocked and also stones thrown at officers. As a result, 2 officers were injured lightly and treated at the scene. We made over 40 arrests, and police activities will continue throughout this week in order to prevent illegal gatherings and prevent the spread of COVID-19.